Hey everybody, it's Michael Levine. This is my fourth take at this story, and now that I've told this story 4 times, I think it might suck. So I apologize if this sucks. It was a good one for me before I started spending the last hour trying to edit this. But anyways, I'm going to try to make it short and sweet and make it make sense. I was giving a lecture in my school, in one of my school locations the other day, talking about one of my employees that had just inspired me the other day. I'm going to give you a super brief rundown on this employee. Her name is Alina. She's worked for me since she was 16. She's now 27. Very, very successful hairdresser. She works 2 days a week, charges $200 a haircut, is booked about 4 months in advance, and she's the top earner in my company working part-time. She was at the Canadian Hairdresser of the Year Awards, the Contessa's in Toronto, and she was up for 3 or 4 awards, which is wonderful. And she's won, I think she's already won 3 of them, and she's at least a 2-time NAHA finalist as well. Anyways, so she was in Toronto, and she was flying back from Toronto. Now, she had actually volunteered to assist at a class in Toronto as well while she was there for the Canadian Hair Awards. So she had stayed an extra day to assist at this class, and then was flying back to Vancouver, and she had clients the next morning. And as an aside, I was bringing in a guest artist from New York to do an editorial styling class, and he's a very, very well-known hairdresser. And I needed a volunteer to come in from my company to help him at 8 a.m., open the salon, assist him, kind of just help the dude out, pass him pins, whatever, I don't know. So I put it out on my company's Facebook page saying, hey guys, I need a volunteer for 8 a.m. Alina jumped at it. I guess she was in Toronto and she happened to maybe be online. She's like, I'll do it. Now understand, she was going to come back from Toronto the next night, and then she would have had clients at 11 a.m. So there's jet lag here because Toronto to Vancouver is like New York to Seattle. Same thing. 3-hour time zone difference, and it's about a 5-hour flight. So she's like, I'll do it. She just jumped at the opportunity. Now, I'm not saying the rest of my staff wouldn't have jumped at it, but nobody did. I mean, I don't know if they had an opportunity, but I know my team fairly well, and chances are I probably would have had to ask somebody. It wouldn't have been a kicking and screaming kind of thing, but I probably would have had to ask, because 8 a.m. is damned early, especially when it's not like just showing up at 8 a.m. looking like a bum. You got to be dressed. You got to have your makeup done. So anyway, she jumped at that opportunity. And then after she assisted him, she was going to go to one of my other locations where she actually works and do her clients till 8 o'clock that night. So she flies back from Toronto, lands at the airport, drives to one of my salons, picks up a set of keys for the other location, then goes home, tries to get a bit of sleep, and then is back in there at 8 a.m. to go assist this guy and then work a 12-hour day. And that is why she's so successful. As an aside, she has always done this kind of stuff. She doesn't say yes to everything, but she has always put herself in the right position, even from when she was a 16-year-old hanging around with me and hanging around the successful people in my salon until she got, other opportunities. She's always said yes to the right opportunities for her. So I was giving a lecture in my school on this, saying, hey guys, I have this girl that works for me. I use her a lot for my lectures because she does everything right. She's always done everything right. So, hey guys, here's this story. Just so inspiring about what it takes to be a success. So I told the story. And then it occurred to me, so now we're like a story within a story. Then it occurred to me that one of the girls in the school, in my class that I was just giving this lecture to, works part-time for a very, very high-end salon company. She's going to apprentice for them when she graduates. She actually graduated today. Congratulations. So it occurred to me she works for this very, very high-end salon company in town. I actually was at their salon the night before because they do a monthly charity event where they bring in a guest artist. He does a class, or she does a class, and a bunch of hairdressers show up at this thing. So I happened to be at their salon the night before attending this class because a very, very good friend of mine named Edwin, who's a very famous hairdresser, he actually came back from Toronto as well, and he taught a class in the morning and then came to this salon company to do their charity event. He's like the hardest working dude I know, and he's a multi award winning hairdresser, and NAHAs, Contessa's, everything. And so he was coming to do this charity event, and he's a great friend of mine. So of course, if I get a chance to hang around him, watch him do hair, awesome. And if I get to say hi, he's a funny dude, and we're good friends, so we always have a good laugh. And so I showed up at his event, and it occurred to me that this girl was not there. So I said to her, hey, where were you last night? Where were you at Edwin's class? She's like, huh? I'm like, there was a big class at your salon last night. I was there. Why weren't you there? She goes, oh, yeah. I was really tired. I had worked all day and I was really tired. And I had just told this story about there is no tired if you want to be successful. None of these excuses, they're bullshit. And she didn't see the irony. She didn't make the connection of the speech that I'd just given 5 minutes earlier, because maybe nobody ever listens to me. I don't know, except for you, my faithful follower friend. Anyways, so she didn't see the irony of that and gave me this excuse. And I was just like, it's unbelievable in our industry. And, you know, very often people complain about a generational thing. I can't remember what we're calling this the millennials. Oh, millennials are this. And you know what? I don't know, but all I know is we've always bitched about the next generation. We're all a bunch of crotchety old people who walked uphill to school through snow both ways. And it's been happening since the beginning of time. So I don't actually think it's as generational as other people do, but maybe it is. But I do think there's maybe a bit more of it. But anyways, it is so easy to succeed in our industry because I don't know percentage wise, but I always just say 90%. 90% of the people out there aren't willing to do, they're not willing to do anything outside of the bare minimum in life. And it's just freaking shocking to me. I own 2 schools and I'm a very successful hairdresser and I have a lot of very successful people who work for me. And I like to think that the people who come to my academy want to be there because of who I am and what I've accomplished and who my team are and what they have accomplished, knowing that we help create winners. But you know what? Winners are going to create themselves. It doesn't matter where they get trained. Winners are going to be winners. And somebody who's not necessarily going to take themselves to that next level, yes, they can be inspired outwardly, but I think ultimately it has to come from within because it doesn't really matter where you go to, it does matter where you go to school because I'm trying to get people to go to my school, and we do offer kick-ass training, so Vancouver Hair Academy, but it's a freaky thing to me that so few people are willing to step outside of their comfort zone. And I mean, even like, this was in her own salon. It was a different location of it, but it's literally a 10-minute drive. And she could have gone. But this is and that's a normal thing. I hope I'm not trying to get her in shit or anything, because this is just a normal thing that I experience from people. But I know it's not just my own experience. I know you're all experiencing this out there. You could take the average $6,000 a month generating hairdresser, right? So that somebody who's not really earning a living, they're just past, maybe they're still borderline poverty line, which is what a lot of hairdressers do. That hairdresser who's bringing in $6,000 a month, if they just put their life on hold for the next 3 to 6 months, let's just say 6 months, but realistically they could probably do it in 3, and focused on doing nothing but working towards pushing their career to the next level, they could be a $10,000 hairdresser within the next 12 months. Easily, if they just put their life on hold and did nothing but focus. Now you look at what a doctor or a lawyer does in dedicated time. Look at a lawyer who has to, what do they call it? When they're, I can't think of the word. But anyways, those guys are doing like 60, 70-hour weeks. And they totally put their life on hold. And that's just to be a bare minimum lawyer, they have to do that. A hairdresser, if we have that same degree of work ethic, that's why there are these guys that do so well. They work their asses off, but look at the top end of our industry. It's incredible how much money those people make. And if we just had the same work ethic that is expected of most other industries where you have control over how much you make, like say a doctor or a lawyer, hairdressers would be doing so much better if we had that degree of work ethic. But we can. It's all a choice. It's all in here. But you have to make some sacrifices. You've got to put your comfort on hold and go out there and bust ass. Ditch your boyfriend. Like, dump your boyfriend. He's not going to be around in a year anyways. Put your children up for adoption. Just go out there and focus on your career and doing nothing else but focusing on your career for 6 months. Attend the right classes. That doesn't mean go take a technical haircutting class unless that class is being put on by somebody who is super successful. Hang around successful people. Figure it out. Figure out what they do. Listen to the way they talk. Take the training. Spend all of your time at home watching videos. Watch Ted Gibson and listen to the way that guy talks to a client. Watch an old Nick Arrojo video from What Not to Wear. Listen to the way that he talks to a client. Their success did not come by accident, okay? It is so easy to succeed in our industry because most people aren't willing to do it. I'm a super lazy guy. I just have to be a little less lazy than you. And I got, 2 salons and 2 academies and a product company. It is so simple. It is so easy, but you've got to be able to put your life on hold for a little while and truly, truly dedicate. And we're not asking for much when we ask you to do that dedicating. It snowballs. It happens organically. Even in 30 days, you can increase your income by 10 to 20% in 30 days. If any job offered you a raise, if any job out there said, hey, I'd like to give you a 20% raise, would you say no? No, of course not. You'd say yes. Well, you're already at work. So all you have to do is just dedicate your time when you're at work to doing everything right. Even just making sure that every minute of those 40 hours a week that you're working at work is spent the right way. That means getting your ass out of the staff room. And when you don't have a client in your chair, assisting the busy hairdresser who does, and listening and observing and learning and trying to create those relationships. And if your employer allows you to, going out and promoting, and not just like going out and slacking and handing out cards, but going out and doing meaningful promoting and talking to people and introducing yourself and dressing like $1,000,000 every day and just doing everything right. It's so simple. And thankfully, so few of you are willing to do it because it makes it so much easier for those of us who will. That's like such a diss. Burn. Go out there and kick ass. And don't really put your children up for adoption. I mean, there's probably somebody who'll take that really, unless they piss you off, probably somebody will take that seriously. I'm just having a laugh. I'm going to be in Long Beach, California at the ISSE at the end of January doing how to survive and thrive as a hairdresser. I'm doing a special session for students and newbies as well as owners and managers. And I think I'm going to be doing a few more shows in the States. I hope to see you guys there. Thank you so much for listening. I hope my story made sense. Have a wonderful day. Go kick ass. Okay? Bye.